That's nice.
What's up guys, it's RevJ again. I'm out in the garage and I'm actually sitting in the frame of the H8RDCPTR LS-powered C10. Now some of you guys remember this thing got hit driving to Summer Nationals last year and the back half of the frame was all screwed up. And if you've been following my build over on the 67 to 72 Chevy truck forums, as well as following me on social media and using the hashtag REBUILDEVERYTHING on all your projects, well you guys would know that we've been making some serious strides and progress on the back half, and we did this throughout the winter. The back frame section was pretty trashed. We did have the option of sending it to a frame shop and seeing if they could put it on a jig and straighten it out, but then we thought, well, I guess we could just build a new one. And so we set out with box tubing, round stock, plate stock, and some structural square tube, and well, we ended up with this. Right now, I am in the current rear frame of the H8RDCPTR C10. It's all steel, hand-built, hand-welded, and I think it's pretty darn cool. If you guys don't follow my social media, and you should, I'll catch you guys up to speed. Last year I was hit and the car got towed back here to the garage. Now it's spent a while sitting while I went through everything with insurance, trying to get that straightened out, court paperwork and all that crap. Then we could go ahead and make plans to actually get this thing fixed. Like I said, because the back half of the frame was so damaged, we decided just to build one, and I actually got lucky and found a guy locally that had a ton of brand new US 2x3 box tubing for a great price. Now in this case, because I was building the whole thing myself, doing the engineering, there was definitely a pretty significant savings to be had over buying a tubular frame kit from someone like Art Morrison, but I won't lie, those guys have tons of experience doing this, frame jigs, TIG welders, all the fancy stuff. This is what you can do in a garage with somewhat of a level floor and a little bit of time and patience, and I'm pretty damn happy with the results. The first thing we had to do is get this thing into the garage and up on jacks. Then I could go ahead and level out the good sections of frame against the floor, accounting for any drops or anything like that, any imperfections in the floor surface. That's such a huge thing, is starting from a good base point. We made sure this thing was level, plumb, and square in all the available places, obviously the damaged section notwithstanding, and took a bunch of measurements in terms of suspension travel and things like that and set those all to the side. We actually even went ahead and made some markings on the shop floor as reference points in case anything got moved around. Now some of this you guys may have actually already seen if you went and watched my frame cutting video I put up a while back. We already had it up and leveled and measured, and we went ahead and cut off that back damaged section of frame. So picking up from there, the next move was to knock out those rivets holding the main suspension crossmember in place, and then we could knock that out the back of the frame section. With it separated, you can really tell the weight. This thing probably weighs about 35 pounds. Anything we'd be putting in its place is going to be a definite weight savings, and more than likely also a stiffness improvement. With everything removed and cleaned up from the back frame section, I grabbed a couple sticks of 2x3, which were going to form our new rear frame rails, and clamped them into place along the lines and measurements that we had taken before. Now attention to detail is important here. These are the main frame rails that are going to hold the back half of the truck on basically, and you want them to be level, square, and right in line with all of your existing measures and angles and stuff like that. We probably measured this thing 5 or 6 times, double checking it every time, and anytime a weld or a change was made, we went back and made sure everything was square and plumb and in line with where it should be. Because an error here can cause huge repercussions down the line that may be impossible to sort out. Once the main rails were in, we were able to tack and lay out a couple of cross members, and we went ahead and notched a main cross member here that was going to become the suspension cross member. That one fits in between the passenger and the driver side new rails and welds both the old frame and the new rail to each other as well as to the cross brace. And once we had determined that level and square were still on track, I went ahead and fully welded those all in. Now at that point, both my GoPros had died. One was fully out of batteries and one just straight up died. Doesn't even work, doesn't even turn on anymore. But let me tell you guys a little bit about what we did. So at this point, the rearmost cross member had been moved just a little bit and retacked back into place in the correct spot where it was going to stay finally. Then we went ahead and cut a couple of standoffs that would become sort of the holding point here for the rear suspension. These are the same 2x3 box tubing I made the whole frame out of, cut at a bevel and welded to the frame to become this support right here. The bar in the center is the provided crossbar when you buy the QA1 coilover kit, put into a sleeve and slid through the outside of these standoffs, fully welded into place. With that done, we could use our measurements to go ahead and weld on our top shock tabs, as well as cleaning off the axle tubes down here and welding in the lower shock mounts for those. Now I am running QA1 adjustable coilovers. These are the single adjustables with one knob that does both adjustments. Real quick guys, talking about those QA1s, I want to take a look at the bottom real quick and show you guys here. I did go ahead and get the upgraded thrust bearing kit. Now that has sort of the normal collar here on the bottom, which it usually has for adjustability, but instead of just the one little thrust washer, there's actually a little sort of needle bearing thrust washer in there. You guys can almost see the bearings. Man, these things are dirty. You can almost see the bearings in there as I kind of roll it back and forth. That is gonna help prevent some of the galling when you go to adjust these things. Now technically, you're not supposed to ever adjust these while they're underweight, but the fact of the matter is that not everyone goes ahead and pays attention to that rule. And these, on top of oiling the threads and making sure you don't get any salt or corrosion in them, just keeping them clean, is gonna help preventing these from galling and adjusting freely and easily when you need it. This kit not only came with the thrust washers, but it also came with the adjustable spanner wrenches for these, which for the 35 bucks I think is a must-have and most definitely a worthwhile upgrade for any of your QA1 coilover packages. So once the QA1s were put back in and bolted to their upper and lower mounts, the truck could be lowered onto its own weight and was effectively a roller again at this point. We could go ahead and take the square and plumb measurements and all that again, both on the jacks and fully lowered down. Now that everything had pretty much been welded up, we knew this thing wasn't going to be moving around a lot anymore, and it was super reassuring to see that at that point there hadn't been any crazy changes in dimension. It was super motivating to see the truck back under its own weight again. I was so disheartened after the original accident to the extent of the damage that part of me never knew if it would come together again. But if you guys have been following me, you know things are definitely underway. We've made huge progress in the back half of the frame, so I think we're gonna end part one here for now, but there is a ton more to come. I've got the whole second part on where we are in terms of the rebuild, adding, changing, and modifying even more things, including the patch on that cab wall, which is currently covered up. If you guys haven't taken a look at the video of me and Ryan Duke going up to the salvage yard to find a donor panel for this thing and pretty much cutting it off with nothing but a Sawzall, definitely go take a look at that. It's up on the channel now. It's in the H8RDCPTR playlist. It's in the Rebuild Everything playlist. I'll have links in the description below. Definitely check out my social media, guys. I'll have it here on screen, as well as using the hashtag RebuildEverything on all your houses, projects, cars, anything. I try to seek those out when I can and give you guys a like or a comment or whatever, and I encourage you guys to do the same. As always, like, comment, and subscribe here on the video. If there's anything more you want to see, if there's anything we're related to the truck. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know, or feel free to reach out on social media. Like I said, there is a ton more coming. I'm super happy with the progress on everything. I'll be back with part 2 on the frame build to show you guys a little bit more about that, as well as all the new stuff going on the channel, all the new stuff going on with my guy MidniteT. He's the one who's tuned my stuff, tuned Ryan Duke's truck. I'll have links to him, and he's in the channel friends as well. So thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for checking it out, and as always, we'll see you next time, guys.